welcome in everybody to another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start this show by being transparent. And yesterday there wasn't a show on this channel, but I've been giving my opinions throughout the week, etc., etc. I was on with J Money yesterday. You guys should see plenty of places where my picks are given. And yesterday I went 2-0 as far as what's actually going to be official for what's tracked for me. It's going to be a 1-0 day because I forgot to add the under for subscribers. So I'm happy with the results. Still a winning day. And NBA last 42 days, I want to say, about up 124 units. So we'll try to keep that going. Rob, it feels like forever since I've talked to you. I know you went out and did a little bit of stuff with the NFL draft. How was that? How have you been? How's everything been treating you?
Things are good, Skee. Glad to be back with you and the chat here. Mid-afternoon Eastern time. It was good. The draft is an event. It's a different style event nowadays. Skee, when I first started going to these drafts way back at Radio City Music Hall, you had, you had to wait outside overnight on the curbside, like you would wait for a concert. Get a wristband, go in. If you were able to stay for all 3 days, they'd give you a free ticket in for the next year. But it was indoor. You had a seat. Now the NFL, last 6 years or so, they've opened it up to the entire public, and it's all outside. So 300,000 people in KC. The first night we spent on the lawn outside the stage, and it was sloped. It was a hill. So, you're standing on a hill shoulder to shoulder with people rooting for all 32 teams. And like I say, it's an event. You sort of ignore it's like Woodstock for football, basically, music festival for football. But it was great. Second day was good. Third day was good. A lot of takeaways from that draft. And it's fun to be with other people that enjoy. My son happens to really, really love that. So being with him was cool. My wife endured the entire first day. She doesn't know the first thing about football. Stood right there, watched the concert afterwards. So it was good. Kansas City's a good little town, and my daughter-in-law lives there, so we get to spend time with family and friends. It was good overall, and I'm glad to be back, though, and we can talk a little basketball, a little baseball, whatever the chat wants to hear, what color my shirt is, how much ass did I look at when I was at the draft, whatever they want to say. There are plenty of it out there, Skee, I got to say.
Yeah, it's a lot to be talked about.
Yeah.
What you said about the shirt, Boofer said, shout out to Rob's blue shirt. Adam was taking a guess here. He said, I got salmon. He said, damn. So they're still guessing about the shirts. What you said about the NFL draft, it was out here, I want to say last year, literally like right across the street from my house. And it was outside as well. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it was a good time. I enjoyed going over there and doing the things that they have. So nice to see that you were able to enjoy it this time. Shout out to Sports Tape. He says, with the 4.99 dono, he says, Warriors tonight, Lakers for the series. I like the sound of that. That sounds, as long as the Lakers win that series, sounds pretty damn good to me. Damian Hill's already talking about Looney and AD rebounds over. I got Ian Cameron in the building, giving Rob a shout out. Says Rob, one of my absolute favorites from my sports memo days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do shows with Ian too. I love Ian Cameron. I've been doing shows with him for a few years now. He's a good guy, but he always has nothing but good things to say about you, Rob.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Ian was way back before Sports Memo fell under the Wager Talk umbrella. Ian was part of that for a time period, and always have a good time chatting back and forth with him. We haven't done a whole load of shows together. We've actually maybe done more written correspondence through text or direct message than we have actual on air, but I look forward to doing stuff with him. And for Ian, let me go ahead and plug real quick. In Toronto, next time my son's band is through, I know you're a music guy, Ian. Yeah, get out and see these kids. Grayscale, look them up. They were just there like last week. So that's a shameless promo for my kids' band. And I know Ian loves music. He's always throwing a few tunes up on either Twitter or wherever he can has a listenership or viewership.
Absolutely. I know Ian well if you know that about him with his music. I was out with him and he even did some karaoke. So Good stuff for
Nice,
Veno.
nice.
And you'll be surprised. He knows the lyrics of all these songs and he does them well. A couple more comments here. Boofer says, "Can't believe Rob lets his son be a fan of a division rival."
No, he's not.
Alfonso says, "Oh, he's not." Okay, okay.
He's
Alfonso
Seahawks
says,
guy.
"For the NBA draft, Rockets are plus 540." No, I'm not even looking at the NBA draft right now. We'll get to that very, very soon, David. What I think about Curry over 30. Appreciate you, Akbar. And let's get to it. Everybody wants to talk about the game. A lot of people starting to tune in here. So we have one NBA game. A lot of MLB games have already started, so we'll maybe touch on the one that hasn't later. First game up, we'll talk 525, 526. We'll go Lakers versus the Warriors. Open Warriors -5. And this thing is still on the move right now. I mean, I'm seeing anywhere between 6.5. I'm even seeing a 7.5 pop up. So a lot of Warrior love coming in so far. Total open 227.5. Not much movement there. We're seeing pretty much 227 across the board. As far as an injury report is concerned, for the Lakers, the usual suspects, AD and LeBron versus both game time decision, but they're likely to play. They're going to be out there. This is a playoff game. Mo Bamba, also game time decision, but very likely to play. For Golden State, it looks like Iggy remains to be out. Baldwin, game time decision. So I feel like this is we got paid in game one on the Lakers. They were able to get away with that win with the rest advantage. And, seeing them play their starters, pretty much the entire fourth quarter, like looking at AD, he played 43 out of 48 minutes. I just don't think you're going to get that from the Lakers, consistently throughout the series, especially with them playing every other day now. So them still in that game one, I feel like LA is fine going back home, tied 1-1. Um, I just don't think you get that same effort and that same minutes from them. Like if the game starts to get away, they'll just rest is more important than trying to fight Golden State for this game. That's how I feel for the LA side. Whereas Golden State, it's do or die now. Like you cannot go on the road down 0-2. That's the series is over, pretty much kind of deal. So I think you'll get a max effort from them. Now it's a little bit more even with both teams on one day's rest. Steve Kerr, he's really good at making adjustments. I would expect some things from him. And, first thing that pops in my mind here is you probably see them play a little bit more zone just to try to make LA, not let them get so much to their strength, which is finishing at the rim, just force them to shoot more jumpers and play on the perimeter. I think they can do that. And then they got to try to, fix some things offensively so they're not just shooting 3-pointers their entire game. And when I think about that, you probably got to choose between Draymond or Looney on the court because LeBron and AD are, not even respecting those guys as far as on the offensive side. So I just think it's not a lot, but I think there's some adjustments to be made for this game too for Golden State. They're still a really good home team all season long. They've been a great home team, as long as this group has been together, and they always respond off of a loss, especially when they're at home in the playoffs. So I'm gonna just trust Golden State to be the team that they've always been. And like I said, I think Lakers are a little bit satisfied. So I'm liking the Golden State side. I'll ask you about the side before we even get to the total here, Rob. How you feel about this game?
Yeah, I agree with you, Skee. I think if you were just to watch these playoffs and make a knee-jerk reaction bet, a mechanical bet without even thinking this through, home teams that have lost game one in this year's playoffs have come back and covered all 6 game twos. It happened in the Milwaukee-Miami series. Miami won game one. Milwaukee blasted them game two. Home team Phoenix lost to the Clippers game one, come back, blast them and cover game two. Cleveland lost to the Knicks game one, game two winner. Memphis lost to the Lakers. Memphis wins second home game. It's 6-0. It's a trend that just is rolling right now, and it's happened twice in the last 2 days, right? The Knicks had lost game one to Miami, came back and covered. And then the next actually the Knicks, if you get all the way up to -10 where it closed, they don't cover. So I'm going to take that one back. But Boston did cover last night. So I think that Golden State's probably the preferred side here. I think a lot of the stuff you said were thoughts that I had. How are the Lakers going to endure those types of minutes throughout the series? At some point, things slow down or legs get fatigued and your defense isn't quite as good as it was. But Golden State, Skee, I think you and I were on NBA tip-off at Wager Talk together the other day. And after the show, we hung around a little bit and we were questioning whether or not the odds makers were telling us that first half Golden State was going to be okay and second half was when they were going to feel the effects of that 7-game series against Sacramento, right? And that's kind of how it worked out. Only scored 48 points in the second half, but now with a day of rest, legs underneath them again, I kind of feel like they're the right side. I wouldn't go against the trend that shows teams in this cornered situation down 0-1 with home floor at stake. I wouldn't go against that trend. I would probably be on Golden State. And for Golden State, from their perspective, it's not Sacramento, right? They did go down 2-0 to Sacramento. It was on the road, but they still went down 2-0 and they were able to come back. This is a different animal, the Lakers. I mean, the contrast in styles here, to me, all along, screamed of a 7-game series. I think we still might see that 7-game series here. So if Golden State can get to the free throw line a little bit more, they only got 6 free throw attempts the other night. But they've told us the way they're going to play. 106 shot attempts by the Warriors the other night. They're going to go fast. They're going to shoot threes. And they didn't even shoot a great percentage the other night, even though they made a lot. They didn't shoot lights out. So I think I would be on Golden State here. I didn't play it. I shortened it up and played first quarter. The way I played Boston last night, first quarter, in the must-win situation, you just expect that home team to come back. So I think that number was -2.5. I like Golden State first quarter in that price range.
Yeah, and you would think, that makes sense to me. The more motivated team, with their back against the wall, they're going to come out and play hard from the start. They're not going to wait. So Golden State first quarter, first half, full game. I can't talk you off. I mean, you saw how Boston turned out yesterday. I'm pretty sure they cast a trifecta, so I'm with you on that. The one thing I want to mention about a little bit about the total, and I'm curious how you feel about this, and you probably are on the other side based off what I've heard you say. The adjustments that I think are going to be made here, for one, if I'm thinking Golden State is going to play a little bit of zone, I think that's going to hinder the Lakers offense. That'll force the Lakers to play, at a slower pace on their side. And I'm just not sure how effective offensively they'll be versus the zone. Then the Lakers have been, a top 5 defensive rated team post All-Star, top 5 defensive rated team in the playoffs. I think they, are more than capable of defending this Golden State team. The one thing I'll say is that makes me a little nervous is maybe if Golden State starts to go more towards a small ball, more offensive lineup, that could screw me up here. But I just really trust the Lakers defense, and I think the changes Golden State makes will help keep this total under. So under 227 would be the way I would go. I have a feeling, what you're saying, how many shots Golden State put up, you're looking the other direction.
Well, I'm looking halfway in the other direction. I like the Golden State team total over, and it's hard, to say that the Lakers won't get to their 110 either. But what kept me off of them was, throughout the course of the playoffs here, they've had a couple of 90, less than 100-point performances, and one of them came in game 2 against Memphis when Memphis was desperate. So felt a little leery there. But the counter to that, if for anybody out there who's playing Laker team total over 110, I think you could take a little bit of solace in the fact that they did not shoot 3-pointers whatsoever in that first game. And Golden State's going to continue to allow them to do so if they want. And eventually one of these games, 2 of these games, 3 of these games, the Lakers guys are going to make some 3-pointers. But I chose Golden State, Skee, for the simple reason that they had 64 at halftime. Playing the way they want to play. I feel like at home you can dictate tempo. They pretty much did. Got 106 shots up. 64, if they did it again in the second half, would have been 128. They wound up with 112. Here, when I played it, they were asked to get over 116.5. I think this number is going up to 117 now. So you need 118 to be a winner in this game. 112 with a tired second half and with only 6 free throw attempts. And with your guys on the bench, and most of us who handicap playoff basketball handicap it with the understanding that role players play better at home. We don't expect them to do much for us on the road, but we expect them to do a little at home. 7 through 10 off the Golden State bench, everybody other than Jordan Poole, 38 combined minutes and only 8 points. That's got to come up a little bit. Those guys are better than that. Gary Payton II, DiVincenzo, J. Michael Green. These guys got to come up with more than 8 points. Even if they come up with 14 or 15, this game gets over for their team total. So again, I took what they produced in game one, 112, and said to myself, you know what? They didn't shoot great. Their field goal percentage was not good. Their 3-point percentage was league average, a little above league average. And they didn't get to the free throw line whatsoever. 6 free throw attempts. If they can increase any of that, it's going to get them to 117 here, I think, because they're not going to stop running. They can't play the Lakers that way. Lakers could win in 4 or 5 if it was a half-court series. So I'm going to try it, Golden State over 116. In fact, I already did try it. But for those of you looking at it right now, I think you're going to find mostly 117s. Shop out there. You may still get a stray 16.5. Always helps to gain that half a point. But that's the way I look, Skee. I think that Golden State, I may even, you know what? First half Golden State over 60 points. I think they're going to come out racehorse style. So Steve Kerr kind of mentioned it in a couple of quotes that they're not going to slow down. They do have to find ways to handle the LA offense. We'll see if they can do that. I'm skeptical that they can handle LA offense. I think the only way LA offense goes south is if they don't care as much or if they just are ice cold from the floor. If AD gets tired and can't produce the way he produced in game one, maybe as well. But give me Golden State today, total wise. I think over 116.5, 117 is a good way to go.
Interesting. So a little bit of contradiction between the way we're seeing this game going total wise. I do agree. Golden State is going to play fast, but you saw in that Golden State versus Sacramento series, they played fast, but a few of those games, I think 4 out of 7 stayed under. So, and Lakers are a much better defensive team than Sacramento. So I don't know. I heard you say that the Warriors, what more can they do offensively? Like I just feel like the percentages you look at it, they shot 40% from three, they shot 41% from the field, but damn near all their shots were 3-pointers. So I don't think they shot that bad. That's just how I'm thinking about it. Other things too for this game, I really think Golden State is more than capable of playing defense without fouling. Like just sending. I get the Lakers attack the rim, et cetera, but maybe if they're playing a zone, they don't have to foul so much because it's not so much one-on-one versus the length. And I just think they can play better defense in general. So I don't think LA is going to outshoot them at the free throw line by 23. That should, and I don't think Golden State is going to get to the line a whole lot more. So that should take down some of those points in my mind. So I guess we're just going to have to disagree here, Rob. I would be fine with Golden State reaching their team total and the Lakers staying well under. And that's kind of how I see this game going. I mean, just like Boston and Sixers last night. Anything else you want to add there?
Well, I was going to say it's kind of what we've seen in these game twos, right, Skee? The home team does all the scoring, and they've been blowouts for the most part. When a home team has been down 0-1, they haven't just squeaked by. They've won by margin. So, yeah, if Golden State can get over there 17 and the Lakers can be held to 105, 106. The difference between this series and the Sacramento series, of course, is the fact that the totals were so much higher in the 237 range. I know that game 7 got bet way down because it was a game 7, but probably about, on average, 9 to 10 points higher with the total in that Sacramento series. We'll see how it goes. I got a little bit of faith that the reserves can get a few more points. And I got a little bit of faith that, Steph may approach the rim somewhat more. I'm hearing a lot of talk about putting Anthony Davis in pick and roll to try and work him over. And maybe that presents more fouls or foul shots for Golden State. It's not like they're incapable, but they're not a team that visits the line a ton. And they generally will get there 14, 15 times. That's not a bunch. If they can get there 11 or 12, I'll take my shot with them. Give me a 3, DiVincenzo. Put me over the total.
All right, good stuff there. Let me see what UCapper's coming with. He says LeBron and AD played 40 plus minutes in game one. They did their job and stole one. If this game gets out of hand,
Very
you
true.
may not see them in the fourth. Maybe look towards their props under. I agree with that 100%. That's how I see the
Mm-hmm.
game going.
Mm-hmm.
So can't talk you off of their unders. There were some questions earlier in the chat for some props. Um, this one I don't think too much of a question. They're just talking about pool or Puddle rather. Is how many logo threes is Puddle giving us tonight? Saturated might have been a Golden State backer in that first game. That's what that sounds like. Player prop wise in this game, Rob, I would think I agree with the AD and LeBron unders. For Golden State side, I just feel like for Golden State to win, they really need Curry to have a good game. Like when he's not scoring and carrying the load, like we're not expecting Golden State to win by margin here. So if I like the Golden State side, I have to like Curry over his point prop. Would you agree?
I would. It's probably somewhere in the vicinity of 29 and a half, 30, something like that. And we know he's capable of 20 and a quarter, like he did against Sacramento in game 7. So, yeah, I would agree with that. How about I was dead wrong here. We spoke the other day, game 1 of this series, and I thought there's no way in God's name that Kevon Looney is going to get 21 rebounds again. He comes back with 23. And they can't make his rebound total high enough right now. The guy's an animal, just like he was in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, his rebound prop, I believe, is 13 and a half. And I mean, he's getting 20 every game. So I can't talk anybody off of Kevon Looney. And I have to say, Rob, I gave Kevon Looney a hard time. I didn't realize that whatever injury he was coming off of was affecting him like that. So I guess now that he's healthy, the past couple years he's been looking a lot better. So can't hate on Kevon Looney anymore. I'm a fan of how he's been playing lately. Let me see
The
a
other
couple more
thing for you
comments.
guys, if you're playing boards real quick, if Golden State's going to put up 106 shots, there's a lot of rebounds to go around. That has to be taken into account as well. The more shots, the more rebounds. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Lane says, "What are the thoughts on first quarter under?" Um, Specifically the first quarter, I would prefer under the more the game goes on. I feel like it slows down and tightens up in the fourth quarter if it's a close game, and if it's not a close game, you get the starters pulled, and you get less points that way. So for an under, I would prefer the full game. What do you think, Rob?
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Again, if Golden State comes out the way I anticipate them to come out, you could be looking at, I think their first quarter team total, Ski, when I looked, was 30. So let's say they have a good first quarter and they're capable of putting up 33, 34. To stay under, you're asking the Lakers only to score 23, have a really bad first quarter. I think that's what you're counting on if you play under, is you don't think the Lakers are going to come out with any intensity and they just have a weak first quarter. I can't argue off of that because it could be that they're happy having stole one and played LeBron and AD so many minutes, but I wouldn't bank on it.
All right. JB says he might fade Clay under 4.5 3 pointers. He goes on cold spells, but he says he likes pull over 1.5 3 pointers. Says that's a gimme. Pull maybe find a little bit of a rhythm now, still playing at the house. I like that 1.5 number. I mean, he's going to shoot him. Would you prefer Clay or Poole, Rob?
Boy, I would prefer Poole. I was just about to ask if JB knows what is attached to that 1.5. Is it -10, -40, -60? I mean, there's got to be a large VIG attached to 1.5 for Jordan Poole, I would think. I'm going to try and look it up now. Because I
Nasty
would
Nate,
play
your
that.
boys did their thing. Yeah, I would too. If the juice is decent, that's a very good prop. I haven't been playing a whole lot of props, but that sounds really good to me. I think the volume will be there, and he's more than capable. Nasty Nate says Warriors second quarter today. Not a whole lot of people looking at that. I know they're looking at the third quarter. Lane says, what about Lakers under 110.5 on their team total? Now that I like. I honestly think that the Warriors win this game by playing a lot better defense. Um, I would go that route. I like that a lot better than the first quarter under. Rick White says, back to the basics. Warriors third quarter. Hey, I guess
Let's
if
get
it ain't
paid.
broke, don't fix it. But Boofer said it didn't hit last game. Maybe it is broke. Feel like we did a pretty decent job here. I want to ask you, Rob, who wins this series? Who do you got right now? Is it the Lakers or is it the Warriors?
I haven't thought this in, well, I won't say the entire year, but let's say the back half of the year. I have not thought that the West goes through Golden State anymore. Now, when I thought that Andrew Wiggins wasn't playing, he's back now, and they are a good team. But I think the Lakers are a bad matchup for him, Skee, to be honest with you. So I'm going to say at this point in time, I think the Lakers can win this series. You're asking Golden State at this point in time to have to go on the road and win one. They did it in Sacramento twice. So maybe the regular season road woes don't exist anymore, but Sacramento was such a better matchup for them than LA is. So I kind of feel like the Lakers are going to win this series. Let me add real quick here that I found these numbers on Jordan Poole. How about the disparity here, Skee? If you want to play Jordan Poole, where I'm looking right now, over 1.5 threes, lay 75 cents to do so. If you want to play him over 2.5 threes, if you think he can make three, you get back almost 2-1 plus 195. That seems excessive for a guy who, when he sees one go through, three usually follows. So I don't know. I might be happier taking a shot at over 2.5 plus 195.
That makes sense. I mean, the value that you're getting on the number. I mean, I would be taking a shot as well. Akbar says maybe look at his over 14 and a half points, says that's good money. And Ratmatic says he's so up and down. Um, and Kevin with another prop here says Schroeder over 11 and a half points plus assist. Maybe another way to look. I know we'll come back and talk about NBA tomorrow. We have Boston, Philly, Denver, Phoenix. Saturday, where we won't be here to talk New York and Miami. I just want to ask, do you have faith that New York can win that series, or do you think, we're going more towards maybe a bubble rematch with Miami getting out of there? If you have to pick right now, who do you think takes it?
Yeah, I'm not convinced Miami's going to win that series, Skee. I mean, I'm not sold that New York is going to win either, but I don't think it's lopsided either way in my mind. I think it's going to be a back and forth. Both teams capable on the road. Miami's played so well offensively that you almost wonder if that's going to stop. I think we had, again, I'm trying to think back if we were on the show together the other day, but Miami has now gone 14 straight games over 101 points. I think their team total was 101 the other night, and they did it without Jimmy Butler. But with that series is spaced out so much, right? There's 3 days rest before they play again, which helps Randall, which helps Brunson. And I think the Knicks inside have a huge advantage against Bam Adebayo, or do I need to call him Scam on this show? Scam Adebayo on this show.
you know.
They don't match up well in there. So to me, the Knicks, I think, are more balanced. And honestly, if I had to lean right now, I'd say slight lean towards the Knicks winning that series.
All right, I think I disagree. I'll
Don't
have a
make
little bit
Joe
more time
happy.
to I know. If Joe was here, I absolutely would not say it. I would not say it at all. And you better not ask. Oh, I don't have to see him on the kickoff show before next week. But I'm not a believer in what I've seen from this Knicks team. You know what kind of players I like, Rob. I like shooters, and they don't have a whole lot of them. Eric Spoelstra is probably the best coach left on that East Coast right now. And he'll play that zone. He'll force them to beat them from the outside. So they could have won that last game without Jimmy Butler, getting Jimmy Butler back and seeing Brunson a little bit banged up. Home advantage now towards the Heat. I'm leaning more towards Miami in this one. So we'll see. I haven't placed a bet on it yet, but that's just my thought.
Now, I don't know what kind of guys they are, Skee, but again, I talked about the space between games. You give the Knicks 3 extra days in South Florida and all the party action that goes on down there. I don't know that they're going to be strict and focused or if they're going to be hanging out on South Beach. In South Beach, I'm not sure, but I do think that they have a chance. And when you brought up Spoelstra, it just hits me a little bit that may be the best coaching matchup in all 4 series that are remaining. You get Thibodeau against Spoelstra, and that's a really good head coaching matchup. Not that any of the others are weak, but I'm just thinking that's a pretty good one there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. Last question here from Rick White. He says, random question. Who do you believe has the best first quarter as far as player points in Golden State Lakers game? I think Steph is going to go off, so I'm going to say Steph. And other than that, Looney's snagging them rebounds like no other. He has damn near 10 at the end of the first quarter. So I know you asked for points. I would say Steph, rebounds, Looney. Your opinion there, Rob?
Yeah, I think, these are just the games where the top dog has to come out and show the way, right? And I think that's Steph. So I would lean that way. Golden State has so many capable scorers, but of the starting unit, it's generally either him or Clay that catches fire immediately. And Steph takes more shot attempts. So I would take Steph.
Fair enough. We're on the same page there. Let's move over a little bit. And I didn't create the banner for this here. I didn't even know that we would talk about it too much. But there's only, well, most of these games have started or will start, right? Very soon. So the only game I kind of looked at was Toronto and Boston, Gosman versus Bello. And I don't have my normal stat sheet. It didn't update for today for whatever reason. But Gosman, he's a guy, long term, I don't have a lot of faith in. He's had some good stretches here and there, but I just don't think he's that good of a pitcher. I feel like a lot of times I've seen him lose command, et cetera, et cetera. Bello, another guy that I don't know have a whole lot of faith in. I, if I think about that, I feel like both bullpens. I know in the beginning of the series they're a little bit taxed. I did win it over when Kikuchi pitched over there, and I feel like every game that they played so far this series has gone over. Whether it's the starters giving it up, the bullpens giving it up. So just for those reasons, I would be looking towards over. It makes me nervous to see the total open at 9.5 and now be sitting at an 8.5. Maybe that's a little bit of weather, wind blowing in or something. And I'm gonna hit the refresh button here on the weather really quick. For Toronto and Boston, only 8.1 mile per hour winds blowing in. So people are betting this one under for other reasons. That'd probably be enough to keep me off just because I didn't look too much into it. But I really would think it'll be another over game. Any opinion from you on Toronto and Boston, Rob?
Well, I think the extenuating factors that you covered, bullpen, I'm just looking at the bullpen numbers right now. They're both taxed. For Boston, I don't know that you can say that there's a group of live arms at the end of game, but for tonight, you would have Kenley Jansen available to close this thing. Brazier, those are 2 pretty good arms. And on the other side, the Blue Jays arms are really up and down. It's been a long series for these 2 teams. They put a lot of pitches in the last 3 days on all their guys. So end of game run scoring production, I could see where you're going with that. And without bad weather, I mean, I'm close to Boston. I'm not extremely close to Boston, but here in this section of the U.S., it is kind of cleared up today. We had worse weather the previous 2 days than we have today. And those 2 teams played in some wicked rain last night. I don't know who the home plate umpire is. I didn't look. That's probably another situation where maybe there's an under umpire. But if we're just going basically on the starting pitching here in these 2 lineups, I don't know how you could play under the way they're going right now. Both lineups mash. You have 2 starting pitchers who both always have potential. Bello is a potential pitcher. Kevin Gausman always has been. He was so highly touted. Like you mentioned, other than that season in San Francisco where he played in a pitcher's haven, he hasn't really put together tremendous seasons. So just from a personal standpoint, when I'm dealing with guys that are hit or miss, I have a tough time with the handicap. I think that's for everybody in baseball, really. If we're staring at starting pitchers that could go either way, we tend to just either go to the total or lay off the game entirely. Probably the way I would be. But I could see late run production. And if either of these two guys gets hit early, 8.5 in Fenway Park, that just seems like a small number.
Yeah, I really want to get there. I'm gonna take a couple of moments and try to look more into it when we hop off of this stream here. But over does sound like a really good way to go. Rob, I only see. I mean, I see one. A lot of these games are about to start right now too. I see a 12:10 start, 12:37 start, 1:10 start. Outside of these, that'll be Milwaukee, Colorado, Atlanta, Miami, and Seattle, Oakland. Any of those kind of catch your attention? I feel like Miami at home has been unders, but again, I didn't look too closely into it today because my sheet didn't populate.
Yeah, it's hard. There was a pitching switch there, Dodd for Atlanta. I don't know a lot about that kid. I didn't spend a lot of time researching him this morning, but I do like Luzardo. Um, and he's a short price favorite here. But it's hard to bet against the Braves right now. I mean, who wants to be in front of the Braves train at this point in time? But there is a starting pitching edge there. If you wanted to shorten it up, first 5 with Luzardo, maybe that's a possibility as well. The games that just tipped off, really, Skee, the only game I had interest in today was Pablo Lopez and Minnesota against Giolito for the White Sox. I thought Minnesota was a good side. That game, obviously, first pitch has gone, so you can do maybe some in-game with it. Kirby for Seattle. I mean, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to come on here. You don't have to bring me on here to have somebody say play against the A's. And that's just been the way it's been since opening day. And George Kirby may be my favorite pitcher on the Mariners staff, but laying 255 isn't my favorite thing to do. So you got to find another way to play that if you're going to play him, put him in some kind of parlay or play run line with the visitors some way or another. But I do think Seattle is a team, Skee, that's trying to like swim against the current and make up ground because they got off to such a bad start. And this is the type of team that you do that against. So I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle wins by margin in that game that goes off at, what do we got? 12:37 Pacific, right? 3:37 East.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, you already said it. I can't talk you off of fade in Oakland in any way, shape, or form, other than the price of that game. Kind of, maybe you get priced out. White Sox have been terrible. I feel like you fade them any way, shape, or form, you'll be all right. So, back in Pablo Lopez could be good in that Twins game, but would have to do it live because it just went off right now. And then Luzardo, I'm gonna have to double check. I feel like he was a guy that I trust, but maybe lately he's been getting touched. Let me just double check really quick. Well, he's 2-1 so far with a 3.48 ERA, so he hasn't been too bad. So maybe I'm thinking of somebody else there. But good stuff regardless, Rob. We talked about the NBA game for tonight, a little bit about Miami and New York series this weekend. We touched on a couple of the MLB games just very briefly. Now, I think it's time for that part of the show where if there's anything that you like that we've talked about maybe a little bit more than the rest, feel free to share. And also, if there's anything you would like to promote.
And go get some lunch, right, Skee? Let's go get some
You
lunch.
know, I'm starving. I'm starving.
Let's go right to what we always promote here, wagertalk.com. Unbelievable since I've been here, the growth in this company. But if you want all your sports betting needs covered in one place, really, wagertalk.com is the place to do it. You can go over there and just drop your email address for free. You'll get instant access to all the video content that they provide over there each and every day, every sport covered, almost every game covered. Long list of really solid handicappers over there. So go ahead and put your email address in and get all the free content over at wagertalk.com, both written and through video. If you like selection packages, today is Throwback Thursday over there at wagertalk.com, which basically means everything is 50% off. You go over, $15 plays are $7.50, $25 plays are $12.50. I know a lot of the viewership here, Skee, probably does not play these exterior football leagues that have been going on, but they've been really, really good to me. kept me profitable for a long stretch here. So, um, I got to talk and read that at the same time. Yeah, we love this chat room. People are the best, boy. Absolute best. Train of thought. Get back to what I was talking about. I have a 4% best bet USFL going this weekend. I'm going to have more than one USFL player. We're off to a 3-1 start in that league. The XFL is closing out their championship games coming next week. Been a real good run there as well. Number one at Wager Talk in XFL football. So if you like that, go over there, wagertalk.com. Tonight's NBA plays are available. Don't have any baseball up for sale tonight just because of the day card. They're all gone. But again, selection packages, media content, game analysis. If you like what you see with Skee and me when we're on here together, any of Skee's shows on this channel, then you'll like it at Wager Talk as well. So wagertalk.com, place to go. As far as plays for tonight, Skee, I'm going to stick to what I had early. I like the Golden State team total to be over. If you can get the 116.5, go get it. 117, I'm still going to say go bet it. I think they get to 118 tonight. Come out with a different mindset. So I'm going to play it that way. Golden State team total over 118 full game.
Good stuff there, Rob. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Like you said, at wagertalk.com, you can find all of our work. I do have a 5% play up and available over there if you would like to be involved. If you've been paying attention, you probably know what it is. With that said, the best bet for the show, we're going to go ahead and disagree today. I'm going to go with the under 227. I think Golden State is going to be focused on the defensive end a lot tonight. And the Lakers, you could get a good defensive effort, but if the game gets away from them, they could just punt it, and that will result in less points as well. So under 227 will be my best bet for the show. And like we always say, like Rob already mentioned, we appreciate you guys in the chat. You guys are hilarious. You keep us laughing throughout the entire show. You guys bring a lot of good information to help us cast some tickets. So we appreciate everything that you guys bring to the channel. Show us nothing without you guys. And Rob, like I always say, it's great to have you here. It's good to have you back. Appreciate you taking the time to break these games down with me. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time. We'll talk about the NBA games for tomorrow, maybe even touch on the one for Saturday, and just break down the card again with you guys. So appreciate you guys. Best of luck if you tell. Good luck on all of your action. We'll catch you tomorrow.